Welcome Beasts, my name is Kiersey and I am a NASM certified personal trainer, and today I would like to go over some calf and ankle exercises with you that you could use for accident rehabilitation or illness rehabilitation, or just for strength and mobility fundamentals. So first thing I want you to do is to warm up those ankles, and we're just going to give our ankles a little massage here. If you can't bend your leg up like that, you can do this on the ground, but it helps to use your hands a little bit. Just really get that joint moving. You want to stretch that foot out, crack those toes if you can. It always feels so good. And just really move those ankles around. Give your calves a quick rub. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Use those hands to really move your ankles around. Stretch your foot. Overextend those toes. Give them a good crack if you can. You can rub your foot a little bit. You just want to warm it up a little bit. Same with your calf. Give it a quick rub. Here we go. And then we're going to continue this on the floor. We're going to come up and do some ankle rolls here. And the other way. And we're going to do some heel raises. We're just warming up, getting a little bit of blood flow into our feet and our calves, especially in winter time. Our extremities tend to be cold and not have a lot of blood in it. And then we're going to go right over in some toe and heel taps. If you want to raise your toes, that works your muscle here in the front. And then you want to raise your heels, that works your two muscles here in the back. And we're just going to go back and forth. This can be quite boring. You can totally do this in front of the TV. You can do this at work, under your desk. And this already works your calf muscles a little bit. But we're not having any weight on it right now, so there's not much going on. But if you keep doing this for a few minutes, you will definitely start feeling the burn. I can slowly start feeling my body warming up right now. You'll probably see some sweat on my forehead soon. And we're gonna go back to the side from side and just keep raising those heels up and down. And I'm squeezing my calves while I'm doing this, so I'm focusing my mind on my calves and intentionally really squeeze, 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 squeeze. And now we're gonna raise the toes up, 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 up. And again, you really wanna squeeze. You might feel this in the front of your shins, on top of your feet, and it's working that muscle that sits right here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep a nice and straight spine. Sit up nice and tall. And just keep squeezing. And we're gonna go both again. Raise, raise. Toes, heels. Toes, heels. Toes, heels. And you can do this all day long. This in itself is already a good calf exercise to build basic strength and also basic ankle stability. You can probably see my ankles wobble a little bit as I squeeze at the top. That's just my little stabilizer muscles waking up and finding their little center. All right. I think my calves are warmed up right now. So the next thing I want to show you is a quick mobility exercise. You can do this standing up with your foot on the chair if you don't want to go onto the ground. But I'm gonna come down on my knees because my knees are fine. And I'm gonna bring my foot pretty close. I'm just gonna push gently forward into it. So now I'm stretching my Achilles tendon right here. The mobility in my left ankle is not that great because of my injuries. There are some ways we can stretch that. First of all, it's like I showed you in the beginning, just pushing into the front like this. You can also use a weight on top of your knee and then push into that. I usually just use my elbow and the weight of my body. You can come into a squat and do the same thing. You can see both my heels leaving the ground here. If I step out, I can accommodate my whole body here, but that's not my goal. I do want to really push into those ankles. So I'm going to step a little bit closer. And again, I'm going to use my elbow to kind of push into that. And my focus is not my right ankle because that's a lot more mobile. But really push into it. There we go. Another way to work on that is you would attach a band, a really heavy band. This is a light one because I'm inside, but you would attach a heavy band and bring this on the top of your foot right here. So there's a little tailbone in your joint here. The tailbone needs to move back as your tibia is moving forward. And what this band does, you attach it somewhere behind you on the ground. I'm just going to use my hand to pull it down here right now for demonstration purposes. And elevating helps to get that right angle of the band. So the band assists the tailbone to move back. Make sure you don't place this on your leg. You want this on top of your foot, pushing down. And with the assistance of the band pulling the tailbone back, I can now come forward and push into that ankle and feel a really nice stretch in the back of my leg and my Achilles tendon and my calf. Do this, hold this for like 10 seconds or so, release, and then do it again. And then retest your ankle mobility. This is something you could do before you work on your calf strength to make sure that you have the full range of motion in your ankle that you can get. Now that we're all warmed up and mobilized, the first exercise we're going to do is the ankle eversion. So what you want to do is keep your knees really steady. They don't want to move. And we're going to bring our toes off of the ground. Now we're going to try to rotate the toes out and in without moving the knees. So I'm going to put my fingers here to keep them steady and then move out and in. And I can feel a lot more resistance in my left ankle than my right. Just really focus on keeping those knees steady. So after you warm up for a few minutes with the toe and heel taps, you can go right over into these. Doesn't really matter how long you do those toes and heel taps and your mobility work, whatever feels good for you. For some it's maybe like 2 minutes, other might want to spend 5. This is getting difficult. I can really start it to feel burning up in here, and I can feel it pull all the way down into the top of my feet. So it looks like nothing, but since those are very small muscles that we're working, it'll get hard pretty quick. And you do like maybe about 20 reps of those and then rest. And since we've really strained the top of the foot right now, we're just going to stretch. So curl your toes under and then just let gravity do its thing and stretch the top of your feet gently. By engaging your legs, your hip flexors and your abs, you're taking a little bit of weight out. You can also brace on the chair to make sure you're not putting that much weight on it, or you can just do one foot at a time and gently push into it if you have high pain triggers in there. You can also add a band to this exercise. Put that band around. I'm going to stabilize those knees again. Sit up nice and tall, brace the core. Lift your toes off. And then again, squeeze out. And then resisting the band, coming slowly in all the way. Now the band helps me come in a little bit more. I'll keep my knees steady. And squeeze out. So the band can definitely be a super helpful tool, but it's not necessary for this exercise to be effective. Squeeze. And I'm still holding against the resistance. And again, do like 20 of those. I can already feel this burning in my calves. I'm not gonna go through all 20 reps with you because that's gonna be quite boring. But that's a good exercise to do. Our calves are actually the muscles that are controlling most of our foot motions. So a really simple exercise is towel grab. You spread out your toes like a fan. I'm wearing socks today because there's a lot of weird foot people out there. Spread your toes like a fan, grab the towel and pull it up. Put it back down. Spread out like a fan, grab, pull up. Whoop. It's more difficult with socks. Do it without socks. Spread, grab, pull up. Spread, grab, pull up. So this is teaching you motor functions, like spreading your toes, which is important for balance. You will see that, or you will hear that when we instruct people to squat, we tell them to use their feet as tripods, using the 2 points in the front and the heel as stabilization. So you want those toes to spread to be super stable. Now, the shoes we wear every day really kind of pinch your toes in like that. So this exercise is great to anti-pinch your feet from the shoe pinch. Words are difficult sometimes, especially when the camera's on, but this will help you to counteract this pinching effect that your shoes have and teach you motor functions and train your calves and teaches your body how to use your feet again properly. And if you do it standing, it's also a great balancing exercise. The next one I want to show you is the step down. You can do this in a stairwell if you have one. That's actually ideal because you have the railings to hold on to. I have a little step here that's a little bit higher than a regular step. That's totally fine too. You can use anything that you can step on and that supports your weight and is stable. You're going to be starting at the top. Hold on for balance if you need to. And we want to step down as slowly as possible, keeping weight on the leg that is up and supporting ourselves with our core. And then training this leg to move up and down slowly. This is your assisting leg, so make sure not your entire weight is on this foot. You want to just spread it out evenly up and down as slow as possible. 10 to 20 reps, depending on where you're starting. Make sure you even out on the other side. Again, we're stepping down as slowly as possible. Ooh, nice ankle crack. Squeeze, slow back down. Squeeze, slow back down. And if you have railings, you can put weight on those railings too, depending on how much support you need. Every time you walk downstairs, this is something you want to pay attention to. Hold on to your railing if there is one. Hopefully there is one. Use that to put some weight on there. And then step down and holding on and keeping weight on your leg that is up. Step down as slowly as you can. Now, whenever you're brushing your teeth or just standing, waiting in line, I recommend that you just keep practicing raising your heels. Maybe you can't really do it with both yet. That's totally fine. Just do one at a time. Keeping some weight on that leg. Squeeze up, squeeze up, squeeze up. Keeping the core steady and engaged. And squeeze, slow down. Squeeze, slow down. Now, something I see a lot of people do is they roll their ankles out like that. We don't want to do that. We also don't want to let the knees cave in. This is a little bit more uncommon, but things can happen. You want to make sure that your foot is going, your heel is going straight up, keeping a straight line and not rotating out to the side. This might feel more comfortable, but it's creating an unstable position for your ankle, and that's how we hurt ourselves. So straight up, slow down. Straight up, slow down. If you're doing both legs at the same time, make sure you're not locking your knees out. Keep them soft. That helps us engage our lower stabilization system. Up and down. And you probably want to focus on a point for balance. Up and down, and up and down. Let's keep doing this every day. Whenever you think about it, just start doing that. Another exercise you can do is using a TheraBand. We're just going to bring this TheraBand around the top of your feet, and you want to make sure that you spread it out nice and wide over your feet so it doesn't just snap off. Make sure you're holding on to that nice and tight. And then we're going to use the resistance of the TheraBand to work on our calves. And this also helps to stretch out the calves at the top. If you really squeeze your quads, the top of your legs, really tight, your heels come off the ground. This is a great starting position. If your heels don't quite come up, that's totally fine. But squeeze your legs, and then you can go one at a time. Extend, extend, and really squeeze into it. Come all the way back up. Squeeze into it. Flex, squeeze, flex. You can do both at a time. Squeeze and flex and squeeze and flex. This looks so easy, but depending on the resistance of your band, it can get really hard. Nice work. Another band you can use is a single little loop band. Just bring the band around the top of your feet like this. Put some tension on it. You want to keep your feet shoulder width apart, right in front of your hips for all of these exercises. Squeeze those legs again. And we're going to go one at a time. One at a time. And now we also have that eversion pull. So we're also working our side stabilizers. One at a time. Squeeze, release. You can bring one down and squeeze, squeeze. And you can also do your ankle eversions here. You're going to feel this one in your butt because you're probably going to rotate your knees out. And of course, you can do all of these things without any equipment. Just squeeze, flex, extend, flex, extend. You want to flex so hard, squeeze so hard, your heels are coming off the floor, and then really point those toes. Squeeze, and squeeze, and squeeze, and squeeze. And you can do ankle rolls here too. Those are great for mobility. Squeeze really hard, keeping those heels off the ground if possible. And the other way. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Curl the toes, expand. Curl the toes, expand. Alright guys, this is it for today. Just dedicate 10 minutes every day. Do this in front of the TV, do it in the morning, do it while you're meditating, whatever it is that you do. Just integrate this into your daily routine, and after a few weeks, I promise you, you will see progress. And now go get your beast mode on and get strong!